Fred, Barry, thank you very much for the introduction. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And a very warm welcome to Hong Kong, and especially to the first-time visitors who are here for the meetings. And congratulations to our hosts on organizing the Hong Kong Forum for each of the past 10 years. This event continues to go from strength to strength. And I understand this year you have a record turnout with nearly 400 people here. Your confidence in Hong Kong is a sure sign that our city has proved our mettle in the face of the worst global recession since the 1930s. Our city and our region's relative resilience to the global financial crisis and the timely recovery is not simply a case of Christmas coming early to this part of the world, although it is now in early part of December, but it is actually the result of a lot of hard work, belt tightening, and also positive effects of prompt and targeted action over the past 2 years. As a small and open economy, Hong Kong was feeling the full force of the economic storm this time last year. The weather was much more gloomy than what it is now. Our economy is now looking better, but I don't think we are really out of the woods yet, and we certainly will not take our fingers off the pulse. Since the onset of the global financial crisis, much has been said about challenges leading to new opportunities. Today, we are seeing these words become reality. The theme of this forum is appropriate. Most economists agree that the global growth engines are indeed shifting away from the traditional markets and towards Asia, and within Asia towards China. This has not happened overnight or even over the course of a year or two. Instead, it has been a gradual process that is now gathering pace. China, with the world's largest population, fastest economic growth of any large economy, is expected to lead our region and also the world out of recession. Last month, the World Bank raised the mainland's GDP forecast for this year to 8.4%, comfortably above our nation's target of 8%. Not only is Hong Kong a major beneficiary of mainland's growth and its potential, but we are also a key contributor to it. We are by far the largest single investor in the mainland, and since reunification with the mainland in 1997, we have become ever more deeply integrated economically with our nation. But at the same time, we have remained the world's freest economy as rated by both the US-based Heritage Foundation and the Fraser Institute in Canada. We have free flow of capital, information, and ideas. We have our fully convertible currency. We have a fiercely independent judiciary. Our civil service is efficient, clean, and we do not tolerate corruption in any forms. Since 1997, we have attracted some 240,000 talents and professionals to come and live in Hong Kong. And I can assure you there is plenty of space for more. One of the opportunities to emerge from the financial crisis is for Hong Kong and for our neighbors in the Pearl River Delta region, where we call PRD in short, to foster a much closer working relationship. I have the pleasure of leading delegations to the 9 municipalities of the PRD earlier this year to promote greater cooperation. I am pleased that many of you will also have the chance this week to visit the PRD and to see for yourselves the exciting prospects in this region. Many years ago, I always called the PRD the best kept business secret in the world. I think this secret is getting out. And through closer cooperation, we will complement each other's strengths and maximize the potential of the entire PRD. We want to establish our region as one of the most competitive regions in the world by the year 2020. This goal is not simply idle talk or a dream of someone of us in Hong Kong. It was set out by the Central People's Government in January of this year in a framework document for the development and reform of the PRD. This piece of document is important because it means that for the first time, the economic integration between Hong Kong and the PRD is clearly laid down in our nation's policy agenda. And it also adheres to the principle of one country, two systems that guarantees Hong Kong a high degree of autonomy as a special administrative region of China. Our competitive edge as a global financial center and hub for trading and logistics will provide a firm foundation for PRD's development. Our world-class, highly developed service sector can promote high value-added services throughout this region and boost the development of service industries across the boundary. China embarked on its economic reform policy 30 years ago, since last year, 30 years ago. And I'm sure the party leaders in Beijing are now scratching their heads and thinking, we have gleaned a lot of experience and success from the past 30 years. What are we going to do in the next phase of our economic reform? I believe the only way to go is learning from the experience of the past 30 years where they have developed, where they have enhanced their agricultural industry, but also developed the industrial base in that very rapid base. Going forward, I believe they will have to speed up the reform policies for the services industry, as they have done with the manufacturing industry 30 years ago. So learning from that experience, Hong Kong was a perfect fit. We had everything they wanted. They had everything we wanted. They have natural resources, an abundance of labor, space, and everything in terms of resources. We have the know-how, expertise, financial capability, marketing capability. So we had everything they needed. They had everything we needed. It was a perfect fit. Looking forward, if they want to develop the service industries, which I believe inevitably they will, because looking at China's economic development now, I envisage that there has to be the direction where they are developing. And again, we will be a perfect fit because we are 90% service-based and our service industries are truly world-class. Earlier on today, our Secretary for Development, Carrie Lam, have spoken on how we are gearing up for the exciting opportunities ahead through the expansion of our cross-boundary infrastructure, including new control points, bridges, railways. Many of these projects are already underway or are soon to be underway. In order to maintain our long-term competitiveness as the premier gateway to the mainland of China, we also need to get the soft infrastructure right. I have mentioned our work in forging closer cooperation under the framework for the development of the PRD. One of the main tools for stimulating cross-boundary business is our closer economic partnership arrangement with CEPA. And the closer economic partnership arrangement actually sounds like a mouthful, so that's why we are calling it CEPA. CEPA is a unique free trade pact that was launched in 2004 and has been expanded each year since then. It is an ongoing commitment to break down barriers to trade, services, and investments between Hong Kong and the mainland of China, and especially in many industries with the PRD. Perhaps the most significant point about CEPA for many of you is that the rules are nationality neutral. All local companies, and that includes foreign-owned firms incorporated in Hong Kong can enjoy the full benefits of CEPA. Under CEPA, most goods with the Made in Hong Kong label are exempted from tariffs in the mainland, and companies also enjoy greater access to the market across the country. Currently, 42 services are covered under CEPA. These include legal services, banking, logistics, conventions and exhibitions, tourism services, and other key sectors. At the same time, a number of liberalization measures are being implemented as pilot initiatives in Guangdong at an early stage, before being introduced throughout the nation. This will benefit the PRD and speed up the integration process. Of course, we are not relying on cross-boundary integration alone for our long-term growth and prosperity. We have always been a diverse and vibrant business city in our own right, with a community that demands high-quality services and appreciates the latest fashions and trends. We have a low and simple tax system. Salaries tax is capped at 15%. Companies pay no more than 16.5% in profits tax. We have abolished death duties. You get to keep what you make. We know you've worked hard for it. We have no VAT nor GST, no capital gains tax, and we have recently reduced our wine duty to 0. Stop laughing, Jim. You look like the cat who ate the canary. But I know we have done pretty well there, because ever since we have abolished wine duty, we are now the world's #2 largest auction center for wines, and it has really worked. But the whole idea is not just to make Jim Thompson happy, so that he can drink wine at no duty. Actually, the whole idea is to create jobs in terms of sales, exhibition, themes, fairs, logistics, distribution, storage, and Jim's toy, the Crown Wine Cellars. Originally, Jim was happy if he doesn't have to write too big of a check for it every year. Now, actually, it gets quite a nice business. So, congratulations, Jim. And to broaden our city's economic base, we recently identified 6 industries with the potential to give added punch to our economy. These are, in addition to our established strengths of financial services, trading and logistics, tourism, and professional services. These 6 industries are education services, testing and certification, medical services, environmental industries, innovation and technology, and cultural and creative industries. Each of them has already established a competitive edge in this region, and promoting these industries does not mean we are going to pick winners. Government is committed to the principle of big market, small government, and we are firm believers that we should let the market decide whether a new idea takes off or fails. But we can clear away some of the obstacles to growth and give promising industries their best shot at success. By encouraging cultural and creative industries to take off, we are also opening minds to new ideas and experiences that will help shape our future. Indeed, we want Hong Kong to be a creative and cultural capital for our region. And that is why we are embarking on one of the most ambitious and audacious projects in the world today, which is called West Kowloon Cultural District Project. And we have a nice acronym for it. We call it WKCD. The West Kowloon Project is a 40-acre site just across Victoria Harbour along the West Kowloon Harbourfront. World-renowned architects are working on a master plan for the site, which will include 15 arts venues, including iconic designs. And this is part of our vision for a more interconnected, creative, and competitive Hong Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, I have touched on some of the exceptional opportunities for Hong Kong at a time of global rebalancing. I also want to take this opportunity to talk about some topics beyond the offices and factories, beyond meetings and boardrooms. Some of the most important questions for business people, such as yourselves, if you are thinking or contemplating coming to Hong Kong or moving here, you always think of questions that are much closer to your heart. Where will the children go to school? Will my family be safe and happy in Hong Kong? What is there to do in the evenings? And how on earth can I work on my golf handicap? The great thing about Hong Kong is that there is something for everyone. Our unique history has produced a rich cultural blend of East meets West. We have a multicultural community and one of the lowest crime rates in any major city. English and Chinese are both official languages, and many others are widely spoken. We have a vibrant international school sector, more than 50 international schools here. They offer curricula from around the world, including North America, Europe, and throughout Asia. And this year, 5 of our universities are ranked in the world's top 200 by the respected Times Higher Education World University Rankings. We have one of the most efficient public transport systems in the world. Not only does it make it easy and very affordable to get around the city, but it also helps to ease congestions on the roads. So if you like to drive, very soon you will be able to buy an electric vehicle and zip around our city without leaving an even bigger footprint. Because we are a small city, it is easy to escape to the countryside for a hike or for a day at one of our many beaches. And if you prefer to walk around our countryside, we have a lot of them as well. But if you like to swing a club and hit at that white devilish little ball, we have golf courses all around us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you do get a chance in your very busy schedule to experience some of the sights and sounds of Hong Kong. Do a little Christmas shopping, watch a little East Asian Games, which will begin on Saturday, the grand opening on Saturday, but actually some of the heats have already started, will already start today, tomorrow. And put a dent in your credit card. I'm sure you'll discover why we would like to call Hong Kong Asia's World City. I wish you an enjoyable stay. I wish you every success, and I wish you a safe trip home. Thank you very much.
CS, you are a terrific ambassador and spokesman for Asia's World City, and thank you for sharing your very entertaining and insightful comments with us. We do have a quick, I believe about 10 or 15 minutes available for a question and answer period, either written or there'll be microphones available for verbal. The first question comes from Australia, New South Wales, one of our members there. And this person is asking, CS, would you like to give some brief remarks regarding your recent visit with Wong Wah-wah, who's the governor of Guangdong, to Australia? Any brief comments about that?
I was in Australia a few weeks ago together with the governor of Guangdong province, Mr. Wang Hua-hua. We actually have done this we do this on an annual basis, where because of the close cooperation and the relationship between Guangdong and Hong Kong, we find it very useful for us to promote the best-kept business secret of the joint-up relationship between Guangdong and Hong Kong. So once a year, we will organize a trip to another country where we will jointly promote the whole Pearl River Delta region, the whole Guangdong, including Pearl River Delta region, together with Hong Kong. We have been to many countries. We have been to Japan, Korea, United States, Canada, England, France, Spain, and this year, Australia. We will continue to do that, and we believe it is one of the most productive and informative trips for many of the ones who attend our forums.
Well, I hope you didn't think you'd be able to get away from this luncheon without a controversial question. And here's one from our association in Washington, Seattle, United States. Recently, the government has been impacted and challenged by civil rights groups. What is your view on this? And the last question is very controversial. Do you take this as barbaric or bureaucracy?
Hong Kong is a open, diverse, cosmopolitan city. Hong Kong people are very much law-abiding and respect the rights of others and the rights of their own. The rights of the rights of everyone in Hong Kong is protected by the Basic Law, which clearly stipulates the rights that they enjoy, and that includes the freedom of speech, gathering, and all that. But like I said earlier, the people in Hong Kong are actually very law-abiding citizens, and they respect the rights of the other people as well. That's why a lot of time when we have large rallies on the street, which is kind of like a daily affair now, which is fine. Even when we have a large amount of people rallying in the streets, almost never do they damage public property or private properties along the way. Because we are a very small and cramped city. We have a lot of people walking on the streets, enjoying their Sunday or rushing to work. So when you have a procession or rally of large amount of people, that they have to be able to accommodate each other. And they walk past shop windows, they walk past people's apartments, they walk past many of the other facilities, and they respect the integrity of the other people as well. So I see this is one of the characters of an open and diverse city, and I respect those who choose to express themselves in whichever way that is legal, law-abiding, and also with respect to other people's rights and privileges as well.
Let's open it up to questions from the floor. If you have a question, would you graciously like to stand up, please, and we'll get a microphone in your hands.
Jim Thompson has no question this year.
James, what tax next do you want him to eliminate? None left. None left. Good answer. None left.
We were kind of joking earlier, Barry, that Jim cannot raise that question again unless he's Scot or French, because we still have alcoholic duty on spirits that has alcohol content of 30% or higher.
Oh, okay.
So therefore, Scotch and brandies are still taxed.
Good story. This is a quiet crowd, but I know if I wait long enough, somebody will stand up and have a question.
Looks like I do get a free lunch. Almost free lunch.
No, we'll wait this one out. We have a hand up there and a microphone there.
With the rise of the major cities in China, Shanghai and all the other ones, would the role of being a gateway to China, to Hong Kong, would that position be diminishing?
I actually get that question quite a lot. I'm sure that question probably is in the minds of many of you here today. I have no doubt that Shanghai, with the support of the Central People's Government and the can-do spirit of the Shanghainese, I have no doubt that they will be successful and they will go from strength to strength, because it is a very vibrant city And it is also a city collectively is very much focused on where they want to be. So I have no doubt they will be successful. But that does not mean we are standing still. China is a very large economy today, and very soon it will become the second largest economy in the world. If we look at large economies around the globe, most of these economies can accommodate multiple service centers. New York is focusing on financial services and a few of the service industries, but we have Chicago, San Francisco, Dallas, Los Angeles. We have a number of other centers who focuses on different aspects of services. I have no doubt that Shanghai will be successful, and indeed, I have no doubt other cities in China, such as Beijing, or even to a lesser extent, let's say Xiamen, Guangzhou, Tianjin, Dalian, they will be successful in their own right and focusing on their niche of the market. So being a very large economy, I believe there is enough in the pie for everyone to have a share, but there is also a push for specialization. And I believe with your knowledge of Hong Kong, you have no doubt where we are heading. We're heading towards a world-class service center focusing on financial services, trading, logistics, creative industries, and technology, as well as we're exploring some of the new industries that I've outlined earlier. Some of them will be very successful. Some of them might take a little bit longer. But we are realistic, and we are very focused on what we want to be.
A question for myself is that Singapore has recently dropped its tax rates, along with many countries around the world, except for the United States, because they still need their tax revenue for their bailouts. Hong Kong, have you been under pressure to reduce your tax rates, our tax rates here?
We are always under pressure to reduce our tax rates. That's like asking somebody, do you have enough money in your bank account? I'm not sure. I believe there is perhaps only one country in the world who has virtually no tax, and that's the United Arab Emirates. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? It is, right? Yeah, I believe that's the only country in the world that has virtually no tax. But I don't think taxation is a deterrent to business, because for any company, I'm putting on my industrialist hat from my past, my Christmases past. I believe for any company to decide on whether they want to invest in a place, for anyone who wants to consider whether they want to move to another place, they always consider what opportunities are there first. For a business, are there enough opportunities for that business to be sustainable, to be profitable, to be able to expand, to be able to use that as a platform to expand in the whole region? And that's usually the first consideration. And taxation, along with government bureaucracy, together with all the visible or non-visible trade barriers that may be present, and Hong Kong has virtually none. All of that is taken into as a basket of consideration. And I believe if you put everything into consideration and in perspective, we actually stack up really well. And that's why we are still the largest single investor into the mainland for foreign direct investment, because many companies like our system. It's open, it's transparent, very simple, and the taxations are low. Rule of law with an independent judiciary is clean, and again, if you sue the government, which people do every day, you will not be afraid that the tax audit is going to come at your door tomorrow. So that's That's the best part of Hong Kong, the integrity of the system, the efficiency of our services and government, and the corruption and the clean government that we have. And I think we actually do pretty well when you put everything together.
Also admirable about the Hong Kong tax system is that Hong Kongers, when they make money outside of Hong Kong, they don't pay tax on that. And that feature is very unique. That's one of the only jurisdictions in the world that allows that. So it's
actually, Barry, another aspect which most people actually don't think about so often is actually we don't tax you twice.
Yes.
In many jurisdictions, if you own a business and your business makes a profit, then the business pays a profits tax. And whatever, let's say and then after you pay your profits tax, then you declare a dividend to its shareholders. And then the shareholders will have to report that dividend as an income and tax from their personal basis again on that income. So when you add on to it another GST or VAT, whatever is left inevitably becomes, diminishes in a big way. So in our system, we actually do not tax you twice. So for a shareholder, after the company pays tax, and then the dividend after tax is declared as a dividend, then we do not tax you again from personal income.
Yeah. That's a great point. Great to emphasize. And when you talked about the strong financial services, we learned this morning, we already knew that Michael Gagan, the CEO of HSBC Worldwide, moved his office to Hong Kong during this year. Has that had perception advantages, or do you see also that it had some substantial advantages, such as attracting other CEOs to move to Hong Kong? Can you comment on that?
HSBC have always traditionally have done very well in Asia, especially out of Hong Kong. I have every reason to believe that the relocation of the CEO to Hong Kong is the emphasis on this area. They see this area has the best growth potential in the future, in the foreseeable future, and they want to put the CEO here in order to capitalize on it.
Yeah, good. We have time for one question, and I do see one person standing up. Perfect.
My name is Alman from Singapore. I think this question definitely a lot of people would like to know from Mr. Tang. I'm not so sure what will Mr. Tang saying about recently the Dubai crisis, and will this cause any damage to the Hong Kong banking system or the share market? Will you mind to let us know a bit more from your mouth? Thanks.
Interesting. Thank you.
Alman, that's a very interesting question. I'm sure it is probably the most talked about and a subject of concern worldwide, especially those who have exposure in the UAE. Like I said earlier, we are the global economy after the last year's economic crisis are beginning to show some encouraging signs of recovery, whether it's green shoots or semblances of green shoots. While I don't think we are out of the woods per se, but I do see that some of these numbers are beginning to become more encouraging. Of course, there's always the looming concern that after many large nations having printed so much money in terms of support measures, whether inflation or other types of bubble will be inflated by all these liquidities sloshing around all over the world. So what happened in Dubai a few days ago actually took the world kind of by surprise. It made a lot of people, it spooked a lot of people, and it made many across the globe very nervous as to what might happen there. My personal take is that I'm not worried that they will go into default because of its very vast resources of the UAE. Not Dubai itself, but of the UAE. And whether they will be, how they will go through that restructuring, or how fast or how successful, and what kind of haircut some of the bondholders or shareholders may or may not have to endure, we don't know, and I don't know. But so far, I envisage that there will be an orderly process instead of a tailspin like what happened about a year ago, over a year ago. But its impact on Asia as a direct impact in terms of financial institutions' exposure is not going to be huge, because Asian banks have traditionally not looked at the Middle East as a major market for them yet. And I'm referring to some of the major Chinese banks. Although some of the British banks actually may have substantial exposure, but as long as they are able to restructure and reschedule some of their loans properly, they will work out that problem. So in the near term, I see volatility. In the near term, I do see there will be some nervous bankers around the world. But in the longer term, I actually am not too worried about the situation, and I wish them well, because the whole world is looking at them on how they will restructure, and I give them my best wishes.
I trust you are correct that there are no worries here. Chief Secretary, that was fantastic comments and questions and answers from you. It's interesting when you have the number 2 of the Hong Kong government, as I said, the Chief Secretary for Administration. All the government departments are ultimately accountable to you. So what you enabled to share with us is such a wide variety of experiences, not limited to one government secretary or one government department, but the whole government and the whole Hong Kong as a whole. And I found that very interesting. So on behalf of everyone here, thank you very much.
Thank you.